Valerie Snyder joins me right now. She is somebody that I've worked with at Abe's Garden for several years now. She was my first coordinator as Remi and I joined on. Valerie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Are you scared, nervous, all the things?
Absolutely.
It's going to be great.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful human, and I've known that from the day that I met you and all the work that we've done together. And I'm really excited for you to share some of your stories. So tell us why you got into this line of work and your role here at Abe's Garden.
So I would say as a young girl, I was just comfortable with older adults or seniors. And my sister and I would go and write cards and pass them out when we would go see my great aunt at a nursing home. And I don't know, I was just always comfortable with gray hair and aging individuals. And so my Grandma Smith, would actually take me along to what was called Ruth Helm's Prayer Group as a child. And it was just this big group circle where all these ladies would sit around and pass around cards, and everyone would write a card to someone. And it could be someone that was a shut-in that's not getting out of the house, or someone that had a surgery or wasn't feeling well. And so I learned from a very young age just the love of card writing from my grandmother. And that was one thing that I think nowadays is kind of gone away.
Very lost art.
Yes. So I just remember being a part of that group and I was a kid, and then everyone else was so much older, and being okay with it or comfortable. And so fast forward, going into my adult years, I studied songwriting for a couple years overseas, and I studied the Bible for a year in Florida, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do and what was next for me. And so I ended up moving to Georgia, and I eventually had a few jobs that I wasn't particularly interested in, banking and some like administrative type of things. And the last job that I had, I knew that I was not doing what I should be doing, and I was trying to figure out how I could get to the point where I was working with seniors, because I felt like that was where my life was kind of going. And so still working a job I wasn't necessarily loving in Atlanta, I started, I guess you kind of say, booking, or started contacting senior communities in the Atlanta area, and I would just go and sing and play for 30 minutes or an hour. And it was there that I really fell in love with individuals with dementia and Alzheimer's. I got to see a little closer up, what kind of challenges they had and just who they were. And so I really fell in love with that population. Fast forward a few more years, in 2018, my husband and I moved to Atlanta area for him to pursue music. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do for a job. I was at that time working with a small business that did assisted living placement. So basically helping families find communities like Abe's Garden for their loved ones. So I did that for a year. We moved here, and that job ended, which was okay. I ended up working at another senior community, but I really had heard about Abe's Garden and really wanted to be here and a part of what they were doing. And so I started in 2019, at the end of 2019, as a life engagement coordinator, and was a part of the team that does all the engagement groups. And I really learned a lot. My background wouldn't have said, you're going to be in front of people talking or teaching. I'd say loosely teaching, or just leading a group. I would have never seen myself doing that. I was pretty introverted, and I was a banker for a long time, and I just kind of was comfortable in other fields, but I wouldn't say being in front of people was ever a comfortable thing.
Well, and I can speak to this. When I come in here, I always see Valerie, and she's in front of a group of older individuals, and whether they're learning about Hawaii, or they're talking about music with Dolly Parton, or they're having a wine and cheese party. I've witnessed you in front of so many large groups in here. It really is a drastic change for you.
For sure. Yeah. And so I can say that this job's really brought me out of myself, I would say. And so I was life engagement coordinator and then volunteer coordinator for a couple years. And that's where, when you started serving with Remi through pet therapy, that's where we connected and met. And I loved that role. And a couple years later, was able to take on the life engagement manager role. So I oversee our life engagement team here at Apes Garden, and we have so many activities and engagement groups happening throughout the day. We do outings and all kinds of fun things. We had a crawfish boil that a family sponsored last week, a resident-led sale where we collected proceeds for a charity, and it's just really a lot of things that I'm glad that I'm a part of here.
Why is it so important with the role that you have, which is so much about their life engagement and making sure that they're enjoying their time here? Mm-hmm. Why do you feel like this role is so important? Because I see firsthand how important it is. But why do you feel like this is something that really makes a difference for them being somewhere that provides that opportunity?
Yeah, I think that allowing them to feel purpose in their life, and whether they've lost a spouse or are trying to figure out what's next, that Abe's Garden a lot of times is that place for them to feel community and be engaged with.
Something I also know that you told me about was that you wrote a song. Speaking of being a songwriter, you wrote a song with one of the residents, and there was this whole thing, and I need to hear that story because I know it, but I want everybody else to hear it.
Sure. So we, through Leading Age, which is an organization that really advocates for aging adults, they had asked us last year if we would partner with a local songwriter here in Nashville and write a song. And so I thought, well, I'm good. I haven't written a song in a long time, but I know a great group of people that could help me do this. And along with the songwriter and also individuals from our memory support area, our club program was also a part of it. We wrote a song called I Am Who I Am, and I really can't take any credit for writing the song. I was just there, and maybe I'd have an idea or two, but this song was really written by our club participants and our memory support residents that all have been diagnosed with dementia.
Isn't that so cool when you think about that, and the fact that they were part of this song and to share their stories through music, mm-hmm. which is so impactful for them? What does that feel like when you get to be a part of such a big part of their life now? Because I feel like that's a big memory for them now.
Yeah, I think just the process of writing the song the first time with the songwriter, and then she, Kashana is her name. Kashana came back the second time, and she had recorded the song, but we put background vocals to it and sang along. It was really neat how just in the course of the months of working on the song, the residents and club members would really remember the song. Anytime I would play it, they would sing along, at least the chorus, I am who I am, you are who you are. They recalled the song, which is amazing if you know anyone that's dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's. And we'd see it a lot at Abe's Garden. There might be like 5 minutes where you tell them something, and within 5 minutes or a short amount of time, they can't recall what just happened. And so for them to recall the song and sing it whenever we would play it was really neat, was really cool. And I think there was pride. I think that they took pride in being a part of that project. We also got to sing the song at the Leading Age conference in October, where they performed it in front of, I don't know how many people were there. Several, a few thousand people were there, and it was just a really neat project to be a part of.
It's so cool, and I love when you share that story because I think it's awesome that you're not just doing the bare minimum, right? You could just throw on a movie and say life engagement and we're happy. You're doing these things that are impactful every single day. Every time I come in here, they're doing something new, something different, and they just feel like they're still getting to experience their life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's so wonderful about you. And one of your highest qualities, as I've witnessed, is patience. I have walked into many conversations, Remi and I have, and it's like an entirely different language. And I think about you every single day, and you're around this all the time. Why is patience so important in this? And why is it so helpful for them as they're navigating? Because I've seen it, and I can speak to you doing it, but you're the one firsthand who witnesses and experiences this every day.
Yeah, I think just what I have learned about dementia and this disease, and as it progresses, there are certain behaviors that happen, or there's, funny things do happen, or they say funny things, and it's just really meeting them where they are.
What are some of your favorite moments or memories from your job and getting to witness beyond the song? Because the song is beautiful in itself, but you've been here a long time and doing a lot of different roles, so I'm sure you have favorite moments.
I think anything with music is a way to kind of trigger their emotions, and I think that I have seen an array of emotions from them. You know, sometimes we'll just be listening to something, and then the next song we put on, it ends up turning into a dance party, and they want to get up and dance, and you're like, okay, let's, just letting them, in some ways, leading. Say, yeah, I'm leading this group right now, or I'm in charge of this group, so I say. But they really have a lot of say and have a lot of pull as far as where the group goes. What are we going to talk about? What's important to them? And so I think some of the best moments have been around music and conversations with that. And, I think there was one time we were talking about what's the song? Rock Around the Clock. We've heard the song forever, right? Bill Haley and the Comets. And we've heard it, and I don't know. I wasn't trying to be silly. I was just like, has anyone over here ever rocked around the clock? I mean, that sounds crazy, And just like talked about it, and somebody said, yeah, I've done that. And I was like, I was just dying. Anyway. It's just, so music brings out so many emotions, and also when you play some of the older songs that maybe that they knew from their childhood, or they were a teenager or a young 20-something, these songs bring back memories to them.
You've been in this for a really long time, and you have done these different roles and stuff. So advice for maybe somebody who's considering getting into this field or thinking about doing the work that you do. What would you say, or motivation or inspiration on any of those levels?
Yeah, I would second Mallory when she said that it is really a calling if you want to get into this field. Just like I would say teaching small children is probably not for everyone, and working with seniors may not be for everyone either, but being in this world so much, 40 hours of my week, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be fun for everyone, because we have so much fun here. But I would say for individuals that are considering working with the senior population, maybe volunteer at a community like Abe's Garden, and I don't want to say feel it out, but can't think of another way to say it. Just spend some time with different populations, whether it's kids or older adults, and see if it's something that you might be interested in. I think that we need more people to work with seniors.
I love that. I think that's really great advice, and it's how I got involved in the community, was just trying it out and seeing Remi was the start, and then we waded into the waters and we loved it, and it was so rewarding, and the impact that even just a couple hours a month that we do has is astronomical, just sitting in those rooms with them. So the work that you guys do every day is really important. Valerie, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. I'm happy you're here.
Well, thanks for asking Abe's Garden to be a part of this podcast.
Always. You guys have a special place in my heart.